You've probably experienced this. You set a goal, you're motivated, but within weeks, you're back to your old patterns. You blame your willpower, but the real problem is your strategy. You're fighting your brain's design with cosmetic routines. The Guji level of discipline is different. It doesn't ask for more effort. It demands a smarter system. It addresses the core reason why ordinary efforts falter. Private commitments are easy to break. What if you could make them public and non-negotiable?
The pattern was always the same. Monday, total motivation. Wednesday, first mental negotiation. Friday, complete surrender. Sunday, promises about the next week. You set a goal with genuine enthusiasm, convinced this time will be different. But that initial feeling acts like a drug. It masks the real enemy, which is your brain's default architecture. This architecture is designed for efficiency, not for change. It resists new patterns to conserve energy. When the motivational high wears off, you are left negotiating with a system wired for the path of least resistance. The failure is not a character flaw. It is a predictable outcome of a flawed strategy. You are trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand, using willpower as your only tool. The real battle happens in the silent moments of decision, where no one is watching. This is where your private commitment breaks. You are alone with your thoughts, and your brain proposes the easier path. It suggests skipping just one day. It argues that you deserve a break. These private negotiations lack the psychological weight to override deep-seated neural pathways. There is no external consequence, only internal disappointment, which is easy to rationalize away. This is the hidden trap. Your brain's resistance is not a sign of weakness, it is a biological fact. An MIT researcher who has studied this for over a decade explains that the brain naturally fights to maintain its established routines. It is a system built for conservation. When you rely on motivation alone, you are fighting against millions of years of evolutionary programming. You are asking a part of your brain designed for quick, energy-efficient decisions to suddenly support a long-term, energy-intensive project. The breakdown is systematic. It begins with the question, should I do this today? That single question opens the door for negotiation. Once the negotiation starts, the outcome is almost certain. Your brain, seeking to return to its comfortable state, will find a reason to quit. It will manufacture an excuse. It will magnify a small inconvenience into an insurmountable obstacle. This is the failure you do not see coming. It is not a dramatic collapse. It is a quiet surrender that happens in the privacy of your own mind, where accountability does not exist. This is the exact point where ordinary discipline dies, and this is the point that Guji discipline is designed to eliminate from the start. It builds a system that makes that initial question irrelevant.
The first lever of Guji discipline operates on a principle older than monasteries: social accountability. When you keep a commitment to yourself, the only consequence of failure is private disappointment. Your brain can easily rationalize that away. But when you broadcast that commitment to your tribe, you introduce a survival-level threat to the primitive brain. You change the entire psychological landscape of the commitment. A public declaration rewires the stakes. Failure is no longer an internal event. It becomes a form of tribal expulsion. The fear of social judgment and loss of status becomes a more powerful motivator than any internal desire. This is not about shame. It is about leveraging a deep, ancient wiring for social cohesion. Your brain understands that being seen as unreliable by your group is a threat to your place within it. This external pressure creates a force stronger than fleeting internal motivation. It turns a voluntary effort into a non-negotiable obligation. Consider the case of Raphael. He did not just decide to meditate. He wrote a specific statement and shared it publicly. He declared, "I am a person who meditates 20 minutes every day at 5 a.m. for 90 consecutive days." This statement is critical. It is not a hope or a goal. It is an identity claim broadcast to his tribe. He was not trying to become a meditator. He declared that he already was one. This is the foundational shift. You move from trying to be someone to declaring you already are. The people around him, his girlfriend and co-workers, initially viewed this declaration with skepticism. They labeled it as dramatic. This external scrutiny, however, served as a powerful motivator. The fear of facing their judgment and admitting failure became a significant deterrent to breaking his commitment. The declaration itself became the fuel for his consistency. The primitive brain interprets potential failure as a direct threat to social standing. It will work to avoid that threat at all costs. This is the mechanism that ordinary discipline misses. It tries to fight the brain's resistance with more internal effort. Guji discipline uses the brain's own wiring against it. It recruits the powerful instinct for social survival to enforce the new pattern. The declaration creates a point of no return. There is no quiet, private surrender anymore. Any failure is now public. Any breakdown is now witnessed. This changes the cost of quitting. The cost becomes unacceptably high. The declaration builds a wall behind you, eliminating the path of retreat. You must move forward because going back is no longer a viable option. This is how you eliminate the possibility of the silent negotiation that kills ordinary discipline.
With the public declaration made, you have built a wall behind you. The next step is to eliminate the path forward. You must build a system that removes internal debate. The enemy of consistency is not failure itself. The enemy is the daily question. The question of if you will do it and when you will do it. This is the vulnerability that Guji discipline attacks directly. It creates non-negotiable hours. Raphael chose 5 a.m. He did not choose it because it was the optimal time for meditation. He chose it because it was an unassailable time. At that hour, the world is asleep. Distractions are zero. Excuses have no power. There are no meetings to attend, no emails to answer, no social obligations to fulfill. The fixed time is not about personal preference. It is about removing the decision point entirely. The mind stops asking, "Should I do this today?" because the answer is already decided. The schedule decides for you. This creates a cognitive scaffold. It is a reliable structure that supports the practice when your motivation fails. The initial resistance to this fixed schedule is normal. Your body is a machine that operates on established routines. It will initially fight against the imposition of a new pattern. This resistance is a sign that the system is working. You are actively challenging your existing habits. The first week is the most difficult. Your entire system rebels against the new demand. But you persist. The second week shows the beginning of adaptation. The body starts to accept the new reality. The fight becomes less intense. The internal negotiation weakens. By the third week, the question simply doesn't exist. The action is no longer a decision. It is a response to a conditioned trigger. The alarm sounds and you get up. There is no internal committee meeting. There is no weighing of pros and cons. The negotiation is eliminated because there is nothing left to discuss. The time is fixed. The action is fixed. The only variable is your compliance, which is now enforced by the public declaration you made. This combination is what makes the system unbreakable. The fixed time acts as the rails on which the train of your new habit runs. It cannot derail because the path is predetermined. You are not steering anymore. You are simply following the track you laid down in advance. This is how you move from conscious effort to automatic execution. The struggle disappears because the choice has been removed.
A fixed time is useless if the routine itself is open to interpretation. The mind,
seeking novelty, will constantly propose better or more efficient ways to execute. It will suggest a different breathing technique. It will argue for a shorter duration. This search for variety is the enemy of deep habit formation. Guji discipline requires a one-way protocol. This means the same order, the same tasks, the same duration every single time. This rigidity is not a limitation. It is the precise mechanism that creates automaticity. An MIT study on habit formation observed this process. The research found that after about 66 days of consistent repetition in the same context, a neurological shift occurs. The behavior moves from the conscious, effortful prefrontal cortex to the automatic pilot of the brain, the basal ganglia. The action is no longer a decision. It becomes a default setting. This is the transition from conscious effort to unconscious competence. The struggle evaporates because the neural pathway is now the path of least resistance. Raphael's meditation practice after the 4th week was no longer a decision. It was a physiological fact. His sequence was non-negotiable. He would wake at the alarm, drink a glass of water, sit on his cushion, and begin his 20-minute session. The sequence, wake, water, sit, breathe, became as automatic as breathing itself. There was no internal debate about the steps. The protocol eliminated the possibility of deviation. Variety would have disrupted this deep neurological engraving. Introducing a new variable would have forced his brain back into conscious decision-making, reopening the door for negotiation and eventual failure. The one-way protocol acts as the chisel that carves the new identity into the bedrock of the self. Each repetition is a strike that deepens the groove. The mind eventually stops fighting the pattern because the pattern becomes the only option. It accepts the reality you have enforced through relentless consistency. This is how you build a habit that operates independently of your mood or motivation. The system executes itself. Your only job is to not interfere with the process. You surrender to the protocol you created. The rigidity of the one-way path is what grants you the ultimate freedom from the internal struggle. The habit runs on autopilot, and you are merely the observer. This is the power of eliminating all choice from the execution phase.
The true test of Guji is not perfect execution in perfect conditions. Anyone can follow a routine when life is calm. The real measure is unbroken continuity through travel, illness, and schedule shocks. This is where ordinary discipline systems shatter. Most people quit at the first major disruption. They believe the streak is broken, so the entire effort is invalidated. This is a critical error. Guji, meaning continuous practice without gaps, demands resilience, not perfection. The goal is not to perform the habit flawlessly every time. The goal is to ensure the chain remains unbroken. A single gap, no matter how small, allows the mind to renegotiate the entire commitment. It reintroduces the question you worked so hard to eliminate. This is where pre-solving obstacles becomes a strategic weapon. You must anticipate the storm before it arrives. Before a disruption occurs, you write down the if-then responses. This is a non-negotiable part of the Guji protocol. You do not wait until you're sick or traveling to decide what to do. You decide in advance when your mind is clear and logical. You create a contingency plan for your identity. If you are traveling, you will meditate in the airport lounge for the full 20 minutes. If you are sick, you will sit for 5 minutes instead of 20. If your alarm fails, you will do the practice the moment you wake up. This anticipatory planning eliminates decision-making under stress. When the disruption hits, you do not have to think. You simply execute the pre-written plan. There is no internal debate about whether the compromised version counts.
The rule is simple. Any execution of the protocol, however modified, is superior to a gap. The practice continues, not in its ideal form, but in its essential, unbroken form. This maintains the neurological groove. It signals to the brain that the identity is non-negotiable even under duress. A researcher at Kyoto University who studies resilience frameworks notes that the most successful individuals are not those who avoid stress, but those who have pre-decided their responses to it. They have built a system that operates on autopilot, even when conditions are chaotic. Your commitment is not to a perfect performance. Your commitment is to the unbroken chain of action. The 5-minute session while sick is more powerful than a perfect session missed. It reinforces the identity under the most difficult circumstances. This is how you prove to yourself that the habit is truly part of who you are. It is not a fair weather friend. It is a core component of your operating system, active in any environment. The storm does not break you. It merely reveals the strength of the structure you built.
The final stage of Guji is not about the habit itself. It is about what the habit forges. After 90 days of continuous practice, a psychological shift occurs. The practice is no longer something you do. It becomes an expression of who you are. This is the level of discipline that makes others uncomfortable. They observe your consistency and label it as obsessive. Their discomfort is a sign. It signals that you have moved beyond the realm of casual effort. You have entered a territory they do not understand. You have become someone for whom breaking the practice is a logical impossibility. The action is now woven into the fabric of your identity. Raphael was no longer a programmer trying to meditate. He was a meditator who programmed. The order of those words matters. The primary identity comes first. The habit is no longer an add-on. It is the core. This identity-level change is the source of frightening consistency. People see this and call it extreme. They do not see the system that built it. They only see the unbreakable result. The system of public declaration, fixed scheduling, and the one-way protocol reconstitutes the self. It methodically dismantles the old, inconsistent identity. That version of you was built on negotiation and compromise. It was flexible and weak. The new identity is built on a foundation of non-negotiable actions. It is rigid and strong. The old self dies through the relentless repetition of the new pattern. The unbreakable self is born from this death. This transformation is not emotional. It is structural. Your brain has physically rewired itself. The neural pathways that supported your old habits have weakened. The pathways that support your new identity have strengthened and become the default. Breaking the habit would now require a conscious effort to fight against your own wiring. It would feel unnatural. It would create cognitive dissonance. This is the ultimate protection against failure. You are not resisting temptation. You have eliminated the category of temptation altogether. The action is simply what you do. It is as inherent to your day as waking up. The question of whether to do it does not enter your mind. The scariest level of discipline is not about force. It is about a consistency so deep it becomes invisible to you. It is just who you are. Others see the outcome and feel fear. You live the process and feel nothing but the quiet certainty of action. The unbreakable self does not fight battles. It has already won the war by changing the landscape of the conflict. The battlefield is gone. Only the identity remains.
The scariest level of discipline is not about punishment or deprivation. It is the quiet, non-negotiable consistency that forges an unbreakable identity. This system eliminates the internal debate that destroys ordinary efforts. Your public declaration starts the chain. It builds the wall behind you. The fixed time removes the decision. The one-way protocol carves the new neural pathway. Continuity through disruption proves the identity is real. The result is a self that cannot be broken because the old self no longer exists. The discipline that scares others is the only discipline worth having. Your public declaration starts the chain. Tell me in the comments what yours will be.